Hey, what's up everybody? It's Kellen here from Start Your Systems again, and welcome back to Monster Energy Supercross 2, the official video game, where today we're continuing on with our career mode, episode number 2 essentially, of career mode, and we are in the 250 class out here at Houston, round number 2 of the 250 West campaign. I won the first round of the series, so got the fancy red plate on, and we're going to try to take it to them. I might actually do 2 rounds this video. I might go all the way out back to Anaheim for this video, so we can do the Triple Crown. You guys can see that. As it is the day that Monster Energy Supercross 2 is being released publicly to everybody. Hope you guys that are going out to get the game today or pre-order it or whatever you had done, pick it up and, you know, come to this video and let me know your true thoughts and opinions. Been getting a lot of kind of interesting mixed feedback on the videos so far since we've released them. I basically released, 3 videos the first day and then that San Diego gameplay yesterday, or it's going to be 2 days ago now when you see this, but like I said, mixed reviews. A lot of people are pretty positive, I would say, about what they're seeing and what's, like, they're looking at in the game from the gameplay, and obviously there's some people that are negative and some people that are very negative about the videos, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, there's a lot of mixed comments. Like I said, I don't know how to put it other than mixed. And everybody kind of asks, like, where do I fall on the whole situation? Like, what do I think about the game? And, like, look, I want you guys to be as subjective as you can about the game. Like, I don't want to steer you in a direction of good or bad with the game and or buying it or not. What I'm saying is my own honest thoughts, and whether you agree with them or not, like, I understand if you're frustrated with what the game looks like and you don't want to get it, or I understand if you think this game looks fantastic and it's everything that you'd hoped for in the second game. From both ends of the spectrum, I get it. Like, I'm not saying that, this is the end-all be-all, this is the greatest game of all time, and if you don't get it, you're stupid. That is not what I'm saying at all. Like, I am just telling you what I see and feel in the game, and whether or not you like what I say, that's up to you. I always encourage anybody that watches my videos to go check out other channels and other YouTubers as well, just so you can get a full gamut of the opinions. If you don't like what I have to say, maybe somebody else will kind of agree with you, and then you can choose to like them more than me. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to basically just tell you that, like, you don't have to take everything I say for what it is. It's totally up to you on whether or not you like this game and whether or not you want to go out and buy this game. Me personally, I do like it, and there's a lot of things I do really enjoy about it, but there's a lot of things I don't enjoy about it. I mean, in a perfect world, for example, in a perfect world for me, I would much rather have, like, a combination of all, like, the best things that we have in motocross games to make some sort of, like, super motocross game. Now, I'm very good at MX Simulator. Like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. Like, I raced pro for a while in the game, so I know how the physical aspects of that game work. And me personally speaking, I would like to see a more physically related video game where the realism factor is supremely high, supremely difficult in these games. So this game doesn't, like, do everything I want it to for me. This isn't the end-all be-all, the greatest game of all time, any of that. It's not. It really isn't. I personally would rather have, something with a little bit more simulated physics, with, like, the looseness and whippability aspects of, like, a reflex, and, maybe a little bit more of, like, the free ride maps and stuff like that of All Out, mixed all together in one supreme game with more in-depth career modes and, things like that. But, I mean, we don't have that. We have game developers all over the world in different areas making games for us. Like, JLV makes MX Simulator, he's in New Jersey. Then we have Rainbow Studios making All Out there in in Arizona. And then we have Milestone out in Italy, and then, like, MX Bikes made by Paboso. I think Paboso's from Sweden. And then obviously the LCQ Studios guys coming out with the Motocross Chasing the Dream game, which they're based in, kind of the middle of the country. I think some of them are from Ohio, some of them from Indiana. So we don't have everybody working as one giant unit, so we're never going to get this, like, supremely perfect game that I think some people are unrealistically reaching for. So all we can do is take what is kind of given to us and try to look at the positives and negatives objectively about it. Now, I have said my piece about the positives of this game, but I haven't, obviously dove in deep on the negatives, which I think there are a lot. One big negative that I don't love about this game is the forced rhythms. I wish that they would just, 3D scan the track and that is it. They don't change up the lines and all this just so that you have specific lines that you hit in the game and you could select what rhythms you wanted to do through it. I personally never felt that what was going on in real life needed to 100% mimic what we would be doing in the game. So them going 3-3-3-1 through that rhythm section before the finish, I don't feel like that's something I need to do in the game. I could come out of a corner in 3 and maybe 4 or 3 out or whatever, because in MX Simulator on this track last year when we raced it, you could do that. You could 3-4-3. I think that would be kind of cool if they made it so that the rhythm lane was standard and what you hit is what you hit. But I get why they changed it, but I wish they didn't. Of course, I'm with a lot of you guys in saying that I wish that in career mode you could ride for factory teams and things like that. That's something that we asked for that we kind of didn't really get, and I could understand the frustration coming from that. I also understand why they didn't get it, because the licensing rights are different for the teams than they are for the licensing rights for the series. The licensing rights for the series is owned by Feld. The licensing rights for factory HRC Honda is owned by Honda Japan. Like, it's completely different entities, and Milestone would have to go to the groundwork to go, to Honda, and then to Kawasaki, and then to Suzuki, and then the Yamaha, and all these teams, and say, yes, we would like to purchase the rights to own your sponsors and all this to use in the game, so that individuals can then also use those sponsors in the game as well. And then it just cha-ching, 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 money starts building up. So, like, again, I wish that we could have factory teams in the game. That would be something that I think that could be a good improvement to the game. Will it happen? Maybe. Maybe they get the funds to go out and do something like that. But I see why they wouldn't have them in the game. And to the point about Ken Roczen not being in the game, again, this is it's money. The reason Eli's not in the first game is for sure money. Like, these marquee guys like a Roczen or a Tomac, they don't just like say, Milestone doesn't go to them and say, hey, so we're making the game again, we're gonna put you in it and that's final. That doesn't happen. No, they go to their agent, Kenny's agent, which is Steven Astafin, for example, and say, all right, Steven, we want to have Kenny's likeness in the game. We want, to have his sponsors in his team and all this business in the game. And then Astafin comes back and says, okay, that's great, that's fine. Here is a dollar amount in which you can use Kenny's likeness in the game. And then Milestone either accepts or declines based on how much that they can use to budget it. So, again, I'm a Ken Roczen fan. I would love to see Ken Roczen in the game. I also understand why he's not in the game. So, just hitting on like a couple of the key points that I'm seeing people, tailor to and what they're saying in the game. In terms of the actual gameplay aspects of it, I think that there are, quite a few things that they can improve on. I think that, for one, we have a little bit too much control of the bike. Not in the air. I wish we had more control of the bike in the air, because we don't, we only can do our little kick out / scrub whip thing, which I wish we could do more of. More big whips or, gnarlier scrubs, but we kind of just have our one little scrub feature that we can tweak out a little bit. But in terms of the bike and on the ground, I feel like we kind of have a little too much control. Like, if a bike is to come up short in a rhythm lane like this, like, it would get kicked pretty hard. You would get thrown over the bars and like do weird things like that. And then like moving around in the air like that, like, you can't really do that in a real dirt bike, on a real dirt bike in real life. 95% of what happens in the air on a dirt bike is initiated based on what happens on the takeoff of a lip. So if I take off of a Supercross triple, I should not be able to turn all the way to the left side of the Supercross triple landing. Yes, I can maneuver my body to be in different positions and maybe keep myself a little bit more in line and kind of pull the bike in one direction, but it will not be that drastic like I just showed right there. So I don't necessarily like that. That's one aspect that the simulated games have a little bit of an advantage of, in my opinion. If you if you're in MX Bikes or MX Sim and you take off on a takeoff, that is the direction the bike is going. You do not have the ability to change the direction from there. So, I mean, I would like to see that change up a little bit. Obviously, I would like to see the actual rider movements changed up a little bit. I don't feel like the rider moves around as much as maybe he should. I know that Federico, who we spoke to from Milestone when we were up in Anaheim, talked about how they had tried to improve kind of the movement aspect of the rider in the game, and that's great, but in the corners he's very stale. Like, he just kind of sits in the middle of the bike. He has his foot out, but you never really see the rider move back or forward as much as really they should. Like, in real life, you can be all the way on the back of the fender pretty much, or up with your kind of nuts on the gas cap. And in this game, that is almost impossible. Your rider doesn't move front to back very much less move side to side when it comes to actually leaning the physical nature of the rider. In some level, I get that, because they need to kind of control where he is in relation to the bike in a neutral position so that it doesn't look like he's just flailing around at all times. Because, I mean, we've had games that do that, like where they're just all over the place and it doesn't look right or anything like that. So I get it, just like I get the other things. But again, that's one thing I wish they could change, I'm not, and with this video, I'm not trying to like crap all over them or, whatever. I'm sure that there will be some people that come back on the other side and say this game is fantastic and I'm an idiot for saying the things that I am. To which point, like, okay, I understand your frustrations. I will, take that into account. But I mean, we have to at some point critique the game here, right? Like, I've been getting a lot of heat from some people that I am not critiquing the game enough. And I understand that point. I think that there are certain things that I should definitely, critique a little bit harder that I haven't been. But I'm just, trying to give my honest and true feedback about the game, and that's what you get. It's not always going to be exactly what you guys agree with. It's going to be probably different from some, and but it's it's just my honest opinion. So like for this, like the whole training aspect of it, I like that they went out and did stuff like this so that you actually improve the playability of the game, with the rider by like doing these challenges essentially that you get stars for, you get rated for. It improves the physical aspect of the gameplay, and you don't just start off as like some beastly character in the game. You actually have to improve the abilities. That's something that we saw in MXGP Pro that they were doing, and I liked it then. I still like it now. Get that. Nice. Got all three. And I think that this is something that maybe they could expand on in the future and get, more of it involved, get more challenges, different things, actual level up of a rider. Like, one of my favorite games to play when I'm just chilling, hanging out, is MLB The Show, because I'm a baseball fan and I like baseball games. So I like sitting down and playing the road to the show in that game. And that game, in terms of like a career mode, very, very, very in-depth. And obviously you can play for real teams in that game, which is another aspect I just hit on at the beginning of this. But it's super in-depth in that game, how much you can do with improving aspects of your player. Like, he's better at taking ground balls, he's better at hitting to contact, he's better at hitting left-handed power, things like that. Where in this game, again, I kind of wish that in a career mode aspect you would start off with lower skill sets and be able to improve them, even to the point where in a career mode I wish that we would start out as an amateur. Now that they have the whole Supercross Futures thing, can you imagine if they 3D scanned the Supercross Futures stuff and had that as part of the game, and you started off your career mode as part of the Supercross Futures, and maybe your skill sets weren't all the way up, but you could level them up before you fully started your professional career mode, and maybe even sign with a factory team coming straight out of the Futures class to, race your first 250 Supercross races in and things like that. Of course, there's a lot of things that they can improve on, and I think that over time when we play this game, we'll build a dialogue of things that will be things that, myself and you guys watching this video as a collective group will want to see out of this game. But based off of initial impressions, what you heard from me in the first, videos that I posted up on Wednesday, or I should say on Tuesday, that's just where I am with the game right now. That's raw. That's my feelings. If you're one of the people that think I'm a sellout for saying too many nice things about this game, that's your opinion. I understand. If you're one of the people that think I'm maybe not giving the game enough credit, again, your opinion. I understand, but I just don't feel like I need to, get absolutely blasted because I have an opinion. It's just what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Just been building it up in my own mind so much about, what I think about the game and what I should say about the game so that I don't look maybe too biased about the game, which is stupid because I'm not. Like, as someone who comes from playing MX Simulator a lot, I could be very harsh on this game with its lack of actual simulated physics. And I understand, again, I don't know how many times I should put an I understand counter freaking up on the graphic board because I'm going to say it like 150 times in this video. I try to kind of break myself away from that simulated mindset when I come and play a game like this because, the reality is not everybody's going to be really great at a game like MX Simulator. And I know that because I get a lot of people that comment on my MX Simulator videos and tell me how trash that game is. So I get it. But I do have to, kind of get into that mindset a little bit and say, like, okay, so if I was picking up this game for the very, very first time, and, I've gone to Supercross a few times, and let's even say I'm not like a young kid. Let's say I'm like a 20-year-old, and I've gone to Supercross a few times, and I want to, maybe get more involved with the sport or something along those lines. What is it that I want to pick up and play? How do I want it to feel? What do I think I should expect it to feel like? I'm jaded, and as a fan of the sport for as long as I've been a fan, going to my first ever Supercross race when I was 4 years old, working for Verb Media Group as long as I did, and working in the industry, and then probably having gone to close to 50 to 60 different Supercross races in my life, like, I will definitely have a different viewpoint than that guy picking up the game for the very first time. So that's the toughest part, I feel like, for me, is trying to put myself in those shoes as someone who would maybe be a new player and what it is they're supposed to feel and what they would like to see. And I can't always be the guy that puts myself in their shoes and gets it right. I'm going to get it wrong. I know that. That's why I'm trying to be, like, very objective with my responses too, as well, when it comes to, like, the people bashing me on the videos and saying, like, negative things about me and my personal opinions. Like, if you're frustrated about the game, I get it. I don't particularly love the personal attacks, I guess, that are taken against me, but again, like, if you're a diehard MX SX guy and you wanted to see massive improvements in this game, that's not what happened. They did improve some things. Maybe some things got worse. I wouldn't say it's a full rehash, as some people have claimed. There's certainly aspects of the game that are different and feel different and play different and react different. So, it's, I don't consider it a rehash. I think that if it was a rehash, you would very much see a lot of the same things happening from the first game in the second game. Yes, you can kind of bowl over rhythm sections still, but I would have to tell you guys that, like, if you play it, you would feel the difference. You would understand that the feel of it is quite a bit different. Like, I almost want to start doing side-by-side videos with the first game to the second game, just so you can see that comparison of what it looks like and how the feel is and all that. Yeah, I mean, there's good and bad with everything. We're not going to have the perfect MX game probably ever. It's just the cold, hard truth of it. If we had the perfect Call of Duty, then everybody would have bought it 2 years ago, and every new game that came out, nobody would play because we already have the perfect one, so they would just keep adding DLC to the perfect one. But we don't have the perfect one. We've had ones that were great, ones that were not great, and that, that again, that's kind of even my opinion. Some people maybe say, like, oh, Modern Warfare 2 sucked, which I think you're crazy if you do, and then say, like, Black Ops was much better than Modern Warfare 2, which I wouldn't agree with, but some people maybe would swing the other way and say that, Modern Warfare 2 was great and Black Ops sucked, or, you know, whatever. It's all objective. And why I encourage people to pick up the game and actually try it is because I don't want to be the one to tell you everything about this game as like a good or a bad thing. I want you to be able to figure that out for yourself. I just want to play this game and have fun and try to enjoy it for what it is instead of just picking apart every little detail as something that's a negative or a positive. Because if I did that, I would never have fun playing these games. I would only go into them with a review mindset and never actually sit back and enjoy the game. So that's what I'm gonna do. This is gonna be the last video that I'm gonna sit here and really, you know, break apart the game in every little aspect and every nitpicky thing that I can, because I just want to sit back and enjoy it now. I want to, you know, try to get the full experience of the full career mode and get the accolades for it and build tracks and all the things that the game has to offer, instead of just sitting here and nitpicking everything. So whether or not that makes sense, I hope it does. And I really have actually appreciated all the feedback that we've gotten on the channel from the first couple of videos, and positive or negative. Again, I'm just happy that people are watching the videos. If you think I'm an idiot, I'm not going to say that I'm not. Sure, I'm an idiot. But if you think I'm great and I'm awesome, then I really appreciate it. Like, seriously, I'm glad anybody watches my content. So whether or not you like me, I'm just glad you're watching. And we're going to sit back and we're going to have some fun, okay? We're just play games. It's a video game. It doesn't have to be cut and dried, good, bad. So yeah, the reason why I wanted to get all the way to Anaheim today and actually do another race, and it's actually interesting that it turned out to be a mud race with all the stuff going on, but this is the Triple Crown. So if you haven't already tried the Triple Crown in game yet, I know some of you guys are just getting it today. This is just going to be like the same format that you know it as. I'm playing the shortened version of it, so I think every race is actually 3 minutes plus 1 lap, but obviously it'd be closer to the real life lengths if you did realistic mode, and one of these days I'll actually play the full length races in the game again, but just doing the short stuff for now. So I wanted to show you guys how the Triple Crown kind of went down in this game. This is going to be main event slash race 1, I guess. And do a little, what am I going to do? Oh, salute to the crowd. Lovely. And we'll go into the second main. So I get 1 point. Triple Crown formats are Olympically scored, so you get 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 4 point, and then your lowest points at the end of the night tally up to equal your actual race score. So if I get 1-1-1, I get 3 points, which go to me finishing in first, which means that overall on the night I actually got 26 points, which is the same as winning just one main event. The Triple Crown, if you're new to the sport, honestly is a little confusing, I feel. Like, if you just think that, oh, it's just one race and everybody gets together and it's just one race, then I can totally understand how it's like, how does it work? But it's cool that they included it in the game because, you know, like, maybe it wasn't the easiest thing to script in. Like, even the AMA site can't figure out how to score most of the Triple Crown stuff. So the fact that Milestone is able to figure it out probably tells you a little something about the AMA. But yeah, I think that's kind of cool that they included it. And I know a couple people have asked, yes, you can kind of just do whatever you want in terms of the Triple Crown. You can totally select, like, if you're just playing single player, or I guess even, I haven't tried it online yet, but I'd have to believe that if you're playing it online with your friends, like any race that you do, you can select the Triple Crown format. At least you can 100% do that in single player. So if, like, I just exited out of the game right now and decided to put on, you know, Daytona single player, I could do a Triple Crown race on Daytona. So that's kind of cool. Like, it doesn't limit you to just the rounds that were Triple Crown races in this game, and vice versa too. Like, Anaheim 2 was a Triple Crown race last year. I could also do just a normal, you know, Heat LCQ main event format on this track in single player, or in championship mode for that matter. So if you do your own custom championship mode, you can select what races would be a Triple Crown and what wouldn't be. I don't know. I think that that's a little kind of cool that they give you that kind of freedom and playability to do it. They very well could have just left it and, like, been like, yeah, Anaheim 2 is Triple Crown, so it's going to be Triple Crown forever. But they didn't. So Kind of cool. Gets a little bit of a change up there. I do also really enjoy the mud physics, and yeah, of course there's lime in the dirt, very much so. No, but I think that the mud physics work pretty decently in this game. The ruts, deform pretty well over time, as you can tell. I haven't really been able to get either Supercross triple. Not that you have the best run-ups to them, but the way that the track is deteriorating, it's actually pretty difficult to get any sort of decent drive through the whoops or up to the Supercross triples, so that's why you see me literally just doubling them every time. But that's a cool aspect. And then so another thing that they, I guess, did with the rain that is pretty neat is it was raining during qualifying, for this race that I'm doing, and it stopped raining, but the track is still wet, so it's not just like, oh, no longer is it raining, the track will be dry. Like, that was one of my concerns that I had when I saw that the dynamic weather would be affected in this game. Like, how dumb would it look if, like, for example, this Triple Crown race, it was raining in qualifying, then the first main event was 100% dry, and then it was pouring rain in the second one or something like that, or even it was just wet track in the second one, and then the third main was 100% dry. Like, that would make no sense. Once a track has been rained on in real life, especially during qualifying, as we saw at San Diego, it's usually pretty toast for the rest of the day or rest of, the event as a whole. So it's kind of cool that it goes from raining hard to a wet track. We don't really get the rain features in other games. Looking at you, Race Factory Gaming. Be cool to have a mud race in MX Simulator once a year. But yeah, I like the mud feature. It's cool how it works. I wish that the ruts would work better, man. There's so many like cool looking ruts that you just like lay into and you're like, ah, man, I'm just gonna absolutely sauce this rut. And then you try to go for it and nothing happens. You just go right through the rut. I mean, seriously, the terrain deformation is all aesthetic in this game. It really does almost nothing, which is kind of lame in my opinion. I wish that it would do at least a little something, little kicks here and there, maybe a rut you could lay into every now and then. But again, just completely aesthetic. So things they could change. Oh, now it's pouring. I bless the rains down in Anaheim. Love me some Toto. Probably gonna get copyright strike just for singing. Here we go. Aaron Plessinger getting a whole shot in the mud. Never heard of it. No, trying to make the corner. That was a terrible first turn. Oh boy. Gonna roll, can't get it. Sorry, Justin Starling. Let's do a little first person action. I feel like I haven't done much first person gaming. I had someone actually comment on not this game, but one of the, I think, MXGP series games, and I didn't play the game in first person in the video, and then I was like talking about some of the physical aspects of the game while playing in third person, and this guy just laid into me about how I have no right to judge what the game feels like if I don't play it in first person. So okay, sorry, I'll play it in first person so that I can feel what it feels like in first person. I actually really like this game and most Milestone games in first person. I feel they do a pretty good job with the feel of it. One thing that I don't love, and someone also mentioned it in the comments in one of my videos, is that like as you go through a corner and like try to turn your head forward, your head doesn't usually look ahead, and if it does, the bike doesn't usually kind of follow you underneath you. Like it ends up way off to the side underneath you, and it looks kind of janky and weird. So like going through a berm, like look at how sideways the bike looks. It's really tough to gauge sometimes, but it's still a pretty neat feel. I feel, you feel? That is why I am super white and not a rapper. These guys are crushing me though, playing in first person. Joey Versace, Christian Craig, Shane McElrath, Can we just talk for a second about how Shane McElrath's name really should be pronounced McElrath? I mean, we don't call him Jeremy McGrath. It's Jeremy McGrath. McGrath? No. McGrath. McElrath. McElrath? I don't know. Come on, Shane. Sugar Shane. Tell us how you pronounce it. And he'll be like, yeah, guys, it's McElrath. And another side note to riders' names, just because we're on the subject, which I created, so ha. Aaron Plessinger let everybody call him Aaron Plessinger forever, and then finally in like mid-2017 decided it's time to correct everybody. So yeah, I guess technically his name is pronounced Plessinger, not Plessinger, which is mind-boggling because everybody called him Plessinger for so long. Yeah, from the man himself, Plessinger. Same thing with the whole Lopez thing about Enzo Lopes. People just like saying, you know, he's from Brazil, Portuguese, it should be pronounced Lopez. But he himself said it's pronounced Lopes, so I mean, I don't know. I tend to go with what people say. It's like when Marvin Moosecan says that his name is like a moose, you know, like out in the woods, and then a Red Bull can, moose can. Kind of went with that one. Decided, yeah, if it's from his mouth, that's probably how it's pronounced. But a lot of people call him Musquin or Moosequin or, you know, French commie. Just every name in the dictionary, I guess. Yeah, his name's Moosecan, guys. Come on. So anyway, wrapping up the Triple Crown here in Anaheim. Looks like I'm still going to get the dub. Take out McElrath here, just trying to get him past him. Man, it looked like he actually got a better drive than me, even though I just took him out and he just landed on me. Come on, Sugar Shane. What are you doing? And surprise, surprise, Plessinger dominating a mud race. But yeah, I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this video today. Some of my thoughts and opinions about the game and you know, where we are with the game and clarifying my thoughts, I guess, so that maybe people will not tell me I'm just blowing milestone all the time. But I guess some people will still think that. Anyway, episode 2 of the career mode wrapping up here. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Some Triple Crown action, some mud racing, some funsies, and a whole lot of other things in between. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So long for now.